What's going on, creative people? This is Creativity is an Idea podcast. You know what? I'm your host, Pyeric, by the way, and I do have someone here. You know, he has been around in Charlotte, not for a very long time, but I think for a very, very long time now.
Don't do me like that.
Yeah, for a very long time. And, you know, when he started doing what he's doing, which I'm about to tell you, when he started it, I think I was in high school. I'm not dating him, just that I'm talking about what he has been doing and how long he has been doing it and how experienced he is in what he does. And you know what? I'm not even going to give you the title. I will let you talk about what you do. Just give them a sound bite of what you do. By the way, this is Manny Mac.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for having me on the show, Pyeric. You know, I've listened to a few episodes and everything in the past, and just a big fan. So, more thing we need stuff like this in the Carolinas. It's another outlook and exposure and things like that. I feel like this is something that the Carolinas need and to get behind. So this man right here is somebody you guys should definitely follow and listen more than anything. So I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, please, or you're watching on YouTube, please, I would encourage you to subscribe.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button or I'm going to come find you.
Oh, yeah, you heard that. Share, rate us so that we will get more quality guests like Manny on the show for you to get more value out of this. Not kidding. Anyway, young man, I was trying to speak like that faster than you. No, I'm not going to speak faster than that.
Yeah, don't do me. I can talk fast too, so don't.
Let's slow down. Let's slow it down. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. So just give them a sound bite of what you do if someone should ask you. So Manny, I see you around. I see you buzzing on social media. You doing commercials for Chevrolet, Chrysler, and all those stuff.
Cadillac and Ford.
Cadillac. Yeah. So what is it that you do, young man?
I'm a production, guy, filmmaker, also audio engineer, and marketing guru too. So a little bit of dabble of everything in the entertainment field. Filmmaking is my passion. That's what I went to college for. I have a film degree, television degree. So, directing movies is definitely what I want to end up in one day. But, just going through life, it's like I've had a little taste of everything. And it's hard for me to say I like one over the other. But I'm just like such a big fan of entertainment and arts, just all around.
You're hurt. He just mentions the things that he has been doing. And when did you start?
Wow. It's crazy. When I was a kid, cameras have come a long way since then. But I had a VHS camera, with the big tapes. You pop them in. Oh, my goodness gracious. You pop it on your shoulder. It weighs like 45 pounds.
Someone will be carrying the lights.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you would hope you'd have some good light at that point. But no, we used to do funny skits and things like dress up and just be real crazy before YouTube, any of that existed back then. And I don't know, I always knew that I wanted to do something with filmmaking. I wasn't sure what it was, whether it was being in front of the camera or behind. But, as the years went along, I don't know, it's actually something I haven't mentioned to you yet, but I'm real big into pro wrestling, like WWE, wrestling you see on TV.
So you wrestle?
Yeah, I'm a trained wrestler as well. And when I was younger, we built a ring in my backyard, and we used to do shows every Sunday. Like I had a group of friends that we'd all come over, and we would put on shows, and kids from the neighborhood would come watch, and that's really where I got a first sense of production. We would put on a show, film it. I would edit it later on, and we'd put it online for people to watch, or edit it to VHS tapes and let people buy the tapes back then. So it's like I've always had a sense of production from that, and we started that when I was in 6th grade, when I was when I was real young, and I progressed all the way through high school. We kept doing shows, and we obviously moved out of my backyard and went more into gyms and actually in front of crowds and stuff like that. So it became a company unto itself, and that part of production, I think, is what led me to where I knew I wanted to do this, and I wanted it to go bigger and, shoot movies, documentaries, music videos, and that's what I kind of had my eye of doing it in high school. I went to Charlotte Catholic here in Charlotte, and they had a small theater kind of program. So I was able to kind of dabble in that, build sets, things like that, and from there I went to Western Carolina College and followed into their motion picture program.
Yeah, that is excellent. You talking about you being a wrestler and doing skis and stuff. I would like you to tell me about your childhood. How was your childhood like, Manny?
You know what? shouts out to my parents, because they were definitely the force behind where what I've become today, and the fact that I went to private school my whole life. So we grew up middle, lower class, and my family always had like a bigger vision for me and my sister. So they did whatever they could for us to go to expensive private schools, and we were not wealthy at all. We were driving the 45 minutes to go to that school. So being around those kind of people, I think they wanted us to have that kind of life, and to kind of see a better life for ourselves, in that you can achieve this. And I'm grateful for that, because not only did it help give me obviously a great education, but it made me want to work hard. It made me see a future that I feel like I could have by just the type of friends I was around, and seeing how their families lived, and it made me want to kind of have that type of lifestyle, and even in a sense, when I built a family, to have that luxury of just comfort, not necessarily wealth, but comfort, and we didn't really have that. Like, we were treated great. We had whatever we wanted, in a sense of toys, or and the things of childhood love, but we weren't wealthy in that way. But my parents knew that we could become that within ourselves, and so that's where they knew with education that was kind of the forefront for us.
The forefront for you. Something you mentioned makes me want to say this, and it's something I'm just going to make reference to. Something I saw, was it yesterday? I went to the mall, right? Pineville Mall, and I had my car parked, I think, in front of dealers way back. And when I was coming out, I saw this white car parked next to mine. Like, that is a Bentley, because I can spot a Bentley from 500 or a mile away.
Of course.
And I'm like, wow, this is so simple, but it's strong. You can see Bentley. Sat in my car, and I saw this man walking. What is he going to do? This black man, tall, he's wearing jeans and a dress shirt tucked in, his phone in his hands. And he looked at me, I looked at him. I didn't say anything. He went to the car, opened it, sat in. I looked at him when I was driving by. And in my head, I'm like, he looks like me. And I'm not talking about color. I'm talking about his stature.
Yeah.
He's a tall guy.
Yeah.
Black guy. And if he stands next to my family, my dad, my uncle, you probably think he's part of the family, but he's not.
That's right.
How he looked like, and his face and stuff.
Perception, yeah.
And I'm like, that could be me.
That's right.
So it sort of had a mental picture bent into my brain that is possible. I don't know what he does.
That's right.
I don't care what he does.
That's right.
I have to be naive that it's possible.
I think a lot of that starts with self,
Yes.
like human nature is always in your brain of what you can and can't do, and a lot of times you're the reason why you aren't where you want to be.
Not kidding.
And I feel like even when you go, like going to South Park Mall, I swear I feel like that every time, because I'm like when I walk in the mall, I'm like, goodness gracious, like, can I be in here? Like, am I wealthy enough to be in here? So like it almost like it inspires you. It makes you want to grind harder in a sense, because it's like, I know I can achieve this.
Not kidding.
And nobody's stopping me but myself. I feel like that's the hardest battle of human condition is your own battle. Is battles within yourself and in your mind. And I feel like once you can kind of get to a point where you can know your abilities and know why God put you on this earth, that you're going to flourish and you're going to use your talents to do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you're so right. And there's this saying, once your mind expands, it cannot go back.
That's right.
And once you see something, or someone opens the door and show you what is possible, and you're able to sort of drink that in, either you feel you can't settle, but you just have to be patient, because it's not an overnight
That's right.
thing.
I think like my biggest thing in life is energy, and grow. The older I've gotten, the more I've been so focused on that I've never been in a fight in my entire life.
You're a wrestler, but no.
Yeah, and then like in school or in outside, in those senses. So like I've always had good energy and try to put that in the universe. That it's blessed me in so many ways that I've been able to grow and go through certain things that I feel like that's the reason why I grew to the person I am, is because I put so much energy in the universe. I wasn't focused on money. I wasn't focused on things that so many people get caught up in, that life was kind of able to kind of lead me in a journey that I knew, like, okay, you're going to meet this person. Mm-hmm. He's going to change your life in this way. You're going to meet this person. He's going to change your life in this way. And it's made me grow and be honestly, like, what I feel like, I still feel like I'm growing every day. And that's what's beautiful, is that, you know, life always brings new people into your life. And you have to see, okay, like, why is this person being brought into my life right now? Like, what am I trying to learn from this? Like, is it a positive thing? Is it a negative thing? Mm-hmm. And that's when I feel like you start growing as yourself, you know, like you become the person you're supposed to be. And I'm grateful for all the energies that have come in my life, you know, from ex-girlfriends to past business relationships and, you know, any of that. And I feel like life is so energy based. And I think it's beautiful in that way.
Life is so energy based. And what energy are you sending out? And what energy are you allowing into your circle?
That's right.
Because when it comes into your circle, you definitely emit that into you, you know. So just be careful with the people you surround yourself with, or know what to learn from the energy you receive.
That's right.
So Manny, man, that was a good one, man. I want to ask you, man, talking about certain things you've seen in the past with your ex, with business relationship and other stuff. I want you to tell me, what event wouldn't you forget?
Oh, that's easy.
Good or bad?
Oh man, bad. Obviously, right off the bat was
let's hit it.
2015. Well, actually, it's probably 2014. Okay, so I'm pretty deep in the music video game in the Carolina scene. You know, like if you look at today, I've probably shot over 4,000 music videos. You know, so I have worked with a number of artists from across the U.S. And that's the beauty of what I've been able to do, has been able to travel and work with different people. But in this particular case in Charlotte, I was working with a group out of East Charlotte, and this one artist named Lil Shaq, was a great artist. He's doing numbers today, doing wonderful things, and he told me about a younger artist. His name's Donkey Cartel is his rap name, and he was out of North Charlotte, and he was like, you know, you need to look at this kid. There's something about him. And I'm like, oh, you know, I keep hearing so many times at this point in my life, like, you need to work with this artist more, you know, by himself and manage this person. And I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to dabble into that. So, like, I really kind of took a sense into his music. I really sat down, I was listening to it, and I felt something. It was like, you know, when the hairs stand up, like, look, I'm feeling it now. Look, you can start seeing I feel like even talking about him makes me feel like that. And I felt like his music was so real, like he was a storyteller. And today it's such a facade. So many people rap about things they really don't live, or, you know, they're actors in a way.
My eyes. Gee.
He was a genuine, real person that rapped about his struggle, and you could feel it. And there was just something that drew me in. And not only that, but at this point in my career, I had a pretty good, like, a lot of eyes on me. So people were watching my movement real heavy. So I knew, okay, maybe if I worked with this kid and I had my movement and he had his movement, we could come together and really make something out of this. And, you know, he was a trouble kid in the streets. You know, he was on 2 ankle monitors at the time. I mean, in and out of jail.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. So I was like, maybe I could help this kid, you know? Maybe I could change his life for the better and keep him focused. And so it was like from the first moment I met him, when we shot our first video, we did like 20,000 views the first day that we put the video out. I mean, I was mind boggled. I was like, oh my gosh, like, we have something here. And so I'm like, okay, cool, like, let's work together, let's do this. So, like, we basically started working together full time. And as I was doing other artist shoots and I'm showing up in different hoods, different neighborhoods, there are people singing and rapping his songs, like little kids, other artists. So, like, I'm feeling how viral it's becoming, like, right under my feet. Like, I know it was getting bigger than what me and him could even think of. And, you know, we probably shot 15, 20 videos, and, you know, we really, really grinded it out. And, you know, there was a lot of senseless violence at that time between neighborhoods, West Side, North Charlotte kind of vibe. And,
people.
Yeah, you know how that goes. And, you know, there was this actually Christmas Eve of 2015. He was in the mall, and there was a situation, an altercation with another group, and some gunshots fired off, and an off-duty police officer kind of intervened and shot and killed my artist. That was my artist, yeah, Donkey Cartel, yeah.
Oh man, I saw that on TV and I'm like, damn, what are these people? These people are dumb. Why they?
Yeah, right. And Christmas Eve too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that video. Someone,
So yeah, that was my artist, and that was something I'll never forget. Like I even remember the phone call when so many people were telling me, and I didn't believe it, and like I just broke down in tears. And like at that point, I built my studio. It's about 30 minutes outside of Charlotte. I built it for him. I was using this as his escape to get out of Charlotte, clear your mind, work, concentrate on your music, a place to shoot videos. Like that's who I built it for. So like for those 2 weeks, I just shut down. Like I didn't want to do nothing. I contemplated burning the whole place down. I just was lost. And like I knew that like he was like almost like a part of my life at that point, that like we would talk every day. I felt like I lost that. Like I was waiting for him to call me. Like I didn't believe it happened. And you don't know that until it's gone, that feeling of something that you're so used to. And I almost didn't know how to carry on. My partner at the studio at the time, he really kind of pushed it under me. It was like, let's get the studio going full time. Let's get you working again and do this for him in a way, keep his memory alive. And, if it wasn't for a lot of close friends near me at that time, then, I probably would have lost it. But, he's with me every day, I believe. He's, watching up, from the upstairs. And, I still try to hold on to his legacy. And a lot of the artists that, work within his circle, I try to help out to this day. And, he'll always be with me. And I always believe that. And, he was like my little son, my brother. I call him my brother from another mother in a lot of ways. And, that was a big thing in my life that like will always affect me and I'll never forget, till this day. And that's what even made me realize he was 18, died at 18, that you never know when it's your time to go. Yeah. So you better hold on to every memory. And at the same time, don't let life live you. Live life and make memories, because you only have one life to live. And that's what made me realize that like how important life was at that moment, that I just want to live now. I want to experience things I've never experienced. I want to build memories. I just want to be so full of life that when you look at me, you're just like, man, he lived. He lived. And I can say that because of Don, because of what I was able, even the little time I had with him, what I was able to experience.
Wow, this is so pathetic. It's sad, man. I remember that on the news. I'm like, is it because of pride? It could have been called off. Yo, who pulled the first gun out?
Right. And there's so many different stories and speculation, but you never really know unless you were actually there.
He was in the shoe store.
Yep.
And I think the off-duty police,
Yep. And it's like Christmas Eve chaos, like there was so much going on, so it's hard to really know. You think mall shooter, something crazy. So like I understand what happened. In a sense, I'm glad it was a police officer and not somebody in a rival group, because I think it would have spelled out into more street stuff.
Oh yeah. And
in a lot of ways that a negative turned into a positive, because 2 months later, his girlfriend had a daughter. So a life, left and a life came. So, and his daughter is gorgeous, a beautiful girl and looks just like him. Mm-hmm. So, that's the universe. The universe works in mysterious ways. And in a sense, a life got taken, but a life came. Yeah. And she is a spitting image of him.
Yeah. Wow. May his soul rest in peace. And
Absolutely.
Also, not to bring this in, but may this lady who just got shot yesterday.
I seen that.
Yeah. May her soul rest in peace. I guess it was probably some crap thing. I don't know what it was, but I just drove by, came home, and around 1 or something, I decided to, go to the 7-Eleven just right here to get something and come back. And I couldn't go. There were cops. I'm like, whoa. So I parked my car and walked to the 7-Eleven. And I found out that, the lady who used to stand here sometimes and say, hey, do you want to give me this and stuff? But she had a gun. She had the gun, and I don't know what happened. It's just a whole lot of information around that. So
Crazy.
The cops were doing investigation, how it happened. And
see, I've never owned a gun, and I've never wanted to, because I always believe that like that energy follows you. And in a sense, like I'm kind of grateful that I never have, because now I really try to not be around. Like even ever since losing Donk, like I try not to put myself in situations like that or energy like that.
I wish I had a gun.
Yeah, so like I really feel like you are who you surround yourself with, and that's in a lot of ways, and even in a sense of where you are.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. Nowadays people don't care. Like it's senseless violence.
It's crazy. Like
it's senseless.
and you can be a bystander.
That's
and
right.
That is what you
That's right.
can't control. You are going somewhere. You are not planning to be in any violence. You've had your day planned, and
yeah, cut short because you just came to the store at a wrong time.
Life is weird sometimes. Anyway, yeah. So, Manny, tell me, man, when did you decide to become or start dabbling in the music, the film, the?
Well, it's crazy. Like, when you go to film school, you think like, man, I'm going to make movies. I'm going to do this and do that. But like, one thing I will say about college and film school is they don't teach you what to do when you get out. So it's scary. You're getting closer to graduate. You're like, yes, cool, I'm done. Like, but then you're like, oh no, like, what the hell do I do now?
I have all this knowledge. How can I start?
Right? And they don't really teach you that. And I feel like that's a big thing that I think the last year of college and film school alone, they should teach you like what to do when you get out of school, because we're not all son of Steven Spielberg or Michael Bay, So at that sense, it's a grind.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to go about it. So, luckily at the time I knew a few people that were musicians. So I thought, man, let me dabble and try to shoot some music videos. And, being the white boy in the hood, you kind of stand out pretty quick. So honestly, the first thing I did was I was like, man, where do the people perform? Where do they do open mics? There was a couple places, Studio 74 in Charlotte and Kilimanjaro's, One Mic Mondays. There's a few, like, they don't really do them anymore, but they were like the cornerstone for local artists.
Mm-hmm.
So I just showed up, started filming people's performances, just, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what's going on? My name's Manny. Hey, you want me to upload this to YouTube? And it just became such a bounce effect that I did one video for one person and they were like, man, Manny's such a cool guy to work with.
Domino.
My phone just kept ringing, and I based a lot of my work off vibes. Like, I have to vibe with you to really work with you, because I like to build consistency. That's my thing, is like, my company is based off productions with personality. That's my slogan. So I base my whole life around that in a lot of ways, where, cool, if we vibe, let's work. And I know 2 weeks later you're going to hit me up for another one, because you don't want to keep running around and juggling around with different people. If you got a sense of this is a good vibe, let's stick with this. Yep. So I focused on that more than the money. And I was able to build my brand off of that after so many years later that, the phone rings on its own now. It's a blessing for sure, but it was a grind. I mean, there were many years where ramen noodles, a 40 ounce, whatever you could do to keep it going. But I believed in my dream so much that if I could wake up every day and do what I love, that's all that mattered to me.
Wow. If he can wake up every day and do what he loves, that's what matters to him.
Yeah.
That is really good, man. And not to forget, he said it was a grind, man. It was a grind. Yeah.
No doubt.
Eating ramen noodles, man. I eat ramen noodles out of fun.
Not as much anymore, but like, I guess if I had to, if I had a pack, I'd probably pop it in for the microwave or something.
Let me tell you this. I went to Food Lion, right? I went to Food Lion the other time. Hey, no name dropping, but I went to Food Lion.
Yeah,
Lion's
sponsor
food.
him.
The other time, and I saw a big pack of
like
a lot
20
of
20 pack or something.
No, oh gee, it was a 10-pack, but there were lots, a pile of them. I'm like, $1 each. Ooh, let's see, So I just picked some shrimp, chicken flavored, and tofu or whatever. Not tofu, but the vegan or veggie whatever one. I'm like, ooh, people I hear college students, the ladies, they'll be like, oh, ramen noodles. And some of the entrepreneurs, they'll be saying, oh, man, I was on ramen noodles, and even Mannys have been saying it now.
Hey, got me through college.
I'm like, hey, let me try this stuff. Maybe it'll be fun. It'll taste good. I added it to my vegetable stew, and it tastes good. Like, I don't know why people are complaining about it, but I think your situation will determine how you feel about that food.
I think health too. Like, I'm 32, so like my stomach just can't handle a lot of things like I could when I was younger. So in a lot of ways, like, I had to change my eating habits because my stomach just couldn't do it. And so many years of that. In your early 20s and stuff like that, yeah, of course, you're a machine. You can eat anything. You can stay up all night. But, the older you get, you kind of got to realize, man, I got to start adding some fruit in here and, different, maybe actually make my meal. And, that's when you kind of get a sense of, like, longevity, like, I want to last longer. I want to live longer. So a lot of that is what you eat.
No kidding.
and people don't realize that until it's too late in a lot of senses.
I wouldn't want to talk about that.
But you're young though; it's okay. Enjoy it while you can.
No, me, I'm a healthy eater. I wouldn't hold on to the flag and say, "Yeah, I'm a healthy eater," but I have slacks here and there. But I try to be careful with whatever I eat because I do know what you put in goes through your body.
That's right.
It's an engine.
Mm-hmm.
Your body's an engine, and anything you put in is a fuel or gas. So you gotta be careful.
Yep. Especially in America, all these fast food places, everything, they're just, you don't know what's in half that stuff. And, there's a reason why it's called fast food.
It's crazy. I don't really want to even go into that. Or this will be a health show.
Right. No, that's for next time.
Yeah. Stay tuned. And
well, if they like this episode, maybe I can come back.
Just take care of yourself. If you're listening to this, try your best to take care of yourself. Eating healthy
That's right.
is not expensive. That's what I can tell you. Just figure out eating healthy is not expensive.
You don't know when your expiration date is, so take that into mind when early as you can, and really take that as far as eating, drinking, sleeping, working out, all of that. It's all facts of life.
Oh, working out. Huh. Well, anyway.
yeah. Enough that, right?
Let me ask you, Manny.
Yeah.
Look, I know. Before I do that, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
There is this Newton's law that says, I'm paraphrasing, in order for you to go up, there are certain things you have to let go or let down before you can move up.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, what were certain things you had to stop doing or let go before you saw progress? Because you can say, oh yeah, I started doing this and things were going, but day in, day out, there are certain habits here and there.
Yeah.
There are certain decisions, business decisions, certain people, certain
yeah.
tools, certain like knowledge you had to, or certain filter you had that you had to let go. So what were some of the things you had to let go before?
Well, first
you saw
off the bat, drugs. I put drugs completely down. Like
which kind of drugs?
Marijuana. I was a big smoker. Big smoker my whole life practically. From high school to college, and it's not a bad drug, of course. It's so many health things that are good in a lot of ways with that drug, but for me, it became more of an escape. And I feel like when you get to that level, that's when it's not a good habit. And I didn't want to feel that way anymore. I felt like I was using it to cure depression in a lot of ways, or the bullshit of life, okay, well, I've had a long day, let me just smoke, or I can't eat, let me just smoke. And I used it as an excuse. And I felt like in a lot of ways towards the end, it started just dragging me down. So once I was able to kick that, I feel like now I'm just high on life. And
adrenaline from life.
Yeah, and I have more energy than I ever thought I could, and I thought I was gonna miss it for a while there, but the longer you not around it and you don't think about it, the more you put your energy into other places, and that's when you realize that your mind is making all this up. It's a lot of it is mental. And once you get past that, you can do whatever you want to do. And I feel like now, I have a glass of, like we talked about before, I have a glass of wine here and there. I'm half Italian, so that's just in my blood. But, I don't know, I think just that natural cure of being high on life is what I love and I get a kick out of now. That in a sense of health. In business, I kind of had to get myself away from what I like to call Sunday artists.
Tell me more.
Sunday artist is what I feel like an artist is only doing music to be cool for their friends, or literally has no sense of actually what it takes to be an artist. The marketing, the actual grind into it. They just do it because they're bored, or they just do it because it's fun. And in a lot of ways, that doesn't work for everyone that's in that circle. So, if I'm shooting videos for 20 artists and not one of them takes it serious, and I'm doing that for years and years and years, I'm on a train that's just, it's going, but it's not going anywhere. And, I want to go somewhere, I don't want to be late 30s and I'm like, man, I put all this dope work in, but it didn't take me anywhere. It didn't open the right doors. It opened doors, but you start opening in a sense of man, I really want to do movies. I want to do documentaries. I want to shoot corporate videos, commercials. So you kind of got to retrace your steps and get on a different train or move in a different direction. And I kind of had to realize that in a business sense. And now today, I'm shooting commercials for Chevy, Cadillac, Ford, and, about to progress into my film side of things next year. So, I I feel like it was a necessary step for me, but it took me growing up, because when you start making money, you start doing things like that, you kind of just, man, this is cool, like this is easy, I'm just gonna do this. But then you kind of realize, like, well, like this isn't taking me where I want to be. It's just a rotation. It's rotating, it's moving, but it's not moving how you want it to move.
Where the people you're facing, they are not really into the game.
That's
they
right.
Are not
That's
doing
right.
What it's like sometimes when I have a guest here, or I'm looking around trying to find a guest, or someone reach out to me. I ask them, how long have you been doing what you've been doing? I have to ask them some questions. At least the person who comes here has to be someone who has been consistent for the past 2 years, and it's not just doing any wishy-washy stuff like,
right.
Today I'll do it, tomorrow I'll do
That's
that.
right.
And one guy, I told him, you know what? See you in 6 months. Right? I said, I don't think you're ready. See you in 6 months.
Ooh, that's a big wake-up call.
Yeah, I sent him that, but he was able to reply well. He didn't take it offensive, because I'm a blunt person sometimes.
Me too.
And I said, see you in 6 months, and then I booked. I was specific that this is the month I'll be hitting you up. I'll be checking up on you, and I booked it on my iPhone, and I took a screenshot and sent it to him. That during this day, if I'm alive, the Lord should help me.
Absolutely, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I will reach out to you, even if I am not the current host, and someone else is. I'll reach out to you, because I'll still be managing everything that goes on with this and any other stuff related to this. So it's just, I just pray that anybody who sits in here or is part of this show or is being heard by someone, don't stop grinding. If they pivot, it's okay. It's
That's right.
life.
It's life, no doubt.
Yeah,
you got to learn from that and keep going. But yeah, I think that's a big problem in the Carolinas is consistency. Anyone could go buy a computer tomorrow and buy a microphone, and they're making music. Like that's where we are today. YouTube, everything is saturated. So I feel like it's like who really wants to do this, and I think you can tell, like you said, in 6 months. Like, okay, what were you doing these 6 months? Like, did you drop anything? In a sense, did you start learning the business side of it?
Yeah.
Because I feel like 99% of it is business and 1% is the actual music. And until you finally get that, you're realizing like you're not really doing anything. You're not going anywhere. Yeah. And having 100 views might seem cool, but that's not going to change your life.
Trust me, I know how that feels. When I started this podcast, I'll put it out there, and I get the views, and I'm like, I'm chasing something of vanity.
Yeah.
I have to look at the downloads and the listenings and the feedback. That is what I want. Anything someone like you say should do to people. People should listen to it, and they should get something out of it. Because I tell you, when we are done and I'm editing it, I'm going to feel refreshing, because every time I'm editing the audio, I'm like, okay, wake up call for me. Ding.
Yeah.
This person said something good.
Yeah.
So I feel like when people are able to listen to this, it's going to help them.
That's right. That's right.
In a way.
In a lot of ways too, like I've always understood that like you have to invest in yourself, and until you understand that, you're not going to be where you want to be. Like if I made $2,000, I probably took $1,000 and put it back into marketing myself, because I knew that there was a bigger picture with that. Like it was going to rebrand me in a way of all these people that didn't know who I was going to finally see me or hear me. And same thing with this. Like when this drops, I'm going to market it because I believe that will help my brand in a way. So a lot of artists don't get that. And in a lot of sense that if you don't, like, that's what I feel like is the difference between a real artist and somebody that's just doing it for fun.
Just doing it for fun. And one time a guest was here and we were saying this. I said, Charlotte has it. Some artists are good, just that the marketing. And he was like, yeah, the marketing. And sometimes people don't know how to market or...
Oh, yeah. Some people are just artists, and I get that all the way, but the internet is everything you need, and it's a free tool. And if you have no excuse, and I always tell people, don't focus on local, focus on global, because music is worldwide. You might have fans listening to you in Germany, but you don't know that because you don't want to market yourself in a way of putting yourself out there. And don't worry, if people are so focused on where you are currently, don't focus on that. The internet is millions and billions of people out there.
Yep.
You could have a whole different fan base in a whole different country,
and you wouldn't know.
And you're selling units on iTunes, whatever, and nobody at home knows who you are. And I get that in a lot of ways. Like I have a lot of love in South Carolina, and I didn't even know that. And I started kind of bursting into that bubble more, where I show up on set in South Carolina, people are like, oh my god, it's Manny Mac. What's he doing here? And I'm like, whoa, like I did not expect this at all. And you don't realize that. So that's why I always tell people, like, don't be local, be global.
Be global.
Don't, even within your music. Like if I'm a rapper, don't rap about Charlotte. No one wants. If I'm in Atlanta, I don't want to hear that. I want to just hear generalized music, like talk about the struggle, talk about things that I can, when I'm listening in my car, I can relate to this. Like or if not, it's an escape. Music is an escape for a lot of people. You want to sit down and the bullshit of your day, your life. I'm using this to get away now. Like my mind is going to take me somewhere else so I can relax and I can meditate. And in a lot of ways, people don't realize that. They generalize and localize their music, and you got to think bigger than that, because you are bigger than that.
Yeah. Local can take you far, but I won't continue the rest. But